Welcome, everybody, to the HESN Football Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler McLaren. I want to thank everyone for joining us on Episode 8 of the HESN Football Podcast for this year. Before we get started, I'd like to just apologize quickly for not having episode released last week. It was one of the busiest weeks of my life last week, and unfortunately, this got put on the side burner. So to all the fans out there and the people that do enjoy listening to this podcast every week, I will apologize for that and say thank you for tuning in this week, and we'll move on and make sure we keep it going right to the end of the football season this year. Unbelievable week of football again in our nation's capital. You know, I can't reiterate this enough. Just how great some of the football has been this year. It's been a real monumental year for the city of Ottawa in the sense of football. Red Blacks securing a playoff spot, Carleton Ravens securing a playoff spot, Ottawa Sooners are back in the championship, and in the NCAFA finals, we have 8 different franchises represented in the A-Cup finals. It's really great to see that. You know, in the NCAFA, you really want to see as many different franchises being represented as you can. That just shows that there is a lot of quote-unquote parity between the neighborhoods and the franchises in NCAFA. Obviously, parity isn't the utmost concern at minor football, but it definitely shows that there's lots of good kids out there, lots of great coaches, and everyone's having a great time playing football because we got lots of teams being represented from all over the different neighborhoods in the city. We'll just quickly do a quick roundabout, as we always do, looking around at some of the football teams outside of NCAFA who are competing in the city of Ottawa. This week we're going to start with the Sooners. We have been unfortunately not able to really get as much work done with the Sooners as we would have wanted to this year. But we took those resources we were going to spend on the Sooners and really focused it on NCAFA. So we feel it was definitely time well spent focusing on NCAFA. But the Sooners have had a fantastic year this year. They're in the championship again this year. They're going to be facing their arch rivals, Windsor Frontenacs or Windsor Raftsmen, something like that. Always a stiff competition there in Windsor. They know their football in Windsor. It's funny how Windsor is good in football and Detroit Lions stink, but the Windsor and the Sooners game is going to be exceptional. Now, the last time that they played, I believe the Windsor team won like 44-12 or something. They beat them pretty good. So I know that the Sooners are going to be looking for redemption. They got a great coaching staff. Coach John Buck really does a great job with all those guys there. And I am very excited to see how that game is going to go down. Hopefully we'll have some sort of video of it. You know, it's unfortunately the game will be in Windsor because Windsor was undefeated this year. And Sooners will be traveling, making the arduous journey to Windsor, which should take around 8 hours, but with the football team and a bus, it usually takes around 9 or 10 hours. Don't know if they're going to be going up the day of the game or not. I know when I was playing junior riders back in the day and we made the trip up to Windsor, I know we went up the day before. We had a grand old time in the hotel the night before the game, and we played and we got our butts whooped. I remember we got our butts whooped. It was raining. You know, they're so physical, those with that Windsor team, and they're probably going to do the same. So I'm really excited to the Ottawa Sooners for making the championship, and I want to wish them my best, and I hope that they can bring home a championship. And we'll maybe get maybe next week we'll maybe try to get some of the Sooners and coaches on, talk about their season, and start the recruiting for next season as well. The other team we're going to take a quick look at is the Carleton Ravens. It has been a really successful year for the Carleton Ravens. You can't hide the fact that it wasn't a successful year. They're in the playoffs. They are the 5 seed, which is maybe not as good as they would have wanted to be. They would have loved to have a home playoff game. They would have loved to maybe even move up a little higher than that. But they have a playoff game, and that's the 3rd straight year of growth. They were 0-8 the first year. They were 4-4 the second year, and this year they were 5-3, and they have a playoff game against the Queens Golden Gales. They will be going to Kingston to battle Queens, which they did in week 1 of the regular season, which they lost a heartbreaker, to be honest with you. They had a fumble recovery touchdown call back. They had a touchdown drop late in the game, and they definitely had the lead at points during that game. So again, this is for both the Sooners and the Ravens, this is a weekend of redemption. They're both going to have an opportunity to sort of slay some demons, and move on and really do something that hasn't been done. Well, I'm talking about Carleton now. Do something that hasn't been done in I don't even know how long. So it's going to be awesome. That game will be on OUA.TV, as all the games always are. And, who knows, maybe some of the games, the playoffs. I remember last year, I know the playoff games were on Sportsnet. So hopefully this year we might have some games on Sportsnet, which would be great. Maybe Tim McAuliffe at 6-0 and DJ Bennett and Justin Dunk will do their thing and give us a good broadcast of that, because that is going to be a great game. Ravens and Queens, they're extremely evenly matched. I bet you if they played 10 times, it'd be 5-5. So I'm really excited to watch that. So anyone on Saturday, if you have an opportunity, make sure you guys check that out. Support your boys, and hopefully we can see them play another week. And I think it'll be Western or Mac or whatever they'll be playing, but it's going to be great. So go Carleton, go. I really hope that you guys have a great win. So good luck to everyone at the Carleton Ravens football team, and hopefully they can bring home the first playoff win in the 21st century. The other thing I also wanted to talk about this week, we don't usually talk too much about the CFL team in Ottawa, the Ottawa Red Blacks. They do get a lot of coverage on TSN and TSN 1200, and there's some Red Blacks podcasts. If you don't know, just go on the internet and check it out. But I wanted to just talk about them a little bit and how impressed I have been this year by them. For those that don't know me, I consider myself a sports fan at all sports. I love CFL and NFL and college football. I watch basketball, hockey, baseball. I watch tennis. I watch golf. I'm a huge, huge sports fan, and I put my sports knowledge up against anyone in this country, in this world, really. I really would. I really feel that I'm a true sports fan, and I really feel that when it comes down to it, there aren't too many people that are as well versed at all the aspects of sports that I am. And in saying that, I really feel that the Red Blacks have had an outstanding season, and I guess it's more about talking about passing the eye test. Some teams can have a good year and you win games and whatever, you do well. Like for example, the Calgary Flames last year in hockey. They won a lot of games, they made the playoffs, but they didn't really pass the eye test. Same with the Sens in hockey last year. They didn't pass the eye test. They made the playoffs, and they played hard in the playoffs, and they won 20 games down the stretch, but is that really a recipe for success? When watching the Red Blacks this year, they have been put in tough situations in every game. They have had tough defensive games and tough offensive games, and they've always pulled through. There is no luck involved with the Red Blacks' wins this year. I would actually argue that the Red Blacks probably could have a couple more wins and probably have the East wrapped up and be first place going into the final 2 weeks, but they don't. They have 2 more games against the Hamilton Tiger Cats, who were the kings of the East most of the season until their quarterback tore his knee and was done for the season. I think the Red Blacks have a chance to win the East. And by winning the East, that would give them a bye and also give them a home games probably throughout the playoffs, or at least throughout the playoffs. So I am really looking forward to watching these last 2 games, really taking a look and see how these guys react, because a lot of times you can tell when a team has the opportunity to do some big things. You can really tell a lot about their character. And the Red Blacks have passed every one of those tests this year. Every time they had an opportunity to take a control, whether they won or lost, they've played well in those games. The game against Toronto where Chad Owens made that one-handed catch, they were right there. And if they win that game, they're probably guaranteed for a first or second place in the East, no matter what. As of right now, there's 3 separate outcomes. They can be first, second, or third in the East. They're going to need some help to become third. They really do control their own destiny. I believe if they win both their games, and I think if Toronto loses one, they're going to be first place in the East. I can't say enough great things about the coaching staff. Rick Campbell, Jason Moss. I think I was personally critical of Rick Campbell in a little bit of his lack of decisiveness and aggressiveness as a head coach, and sort of playing not to lose, I felt. But this year, I really felt that they've done an amazing job of being aggressive, going for it on third down, and allowing Jason Moss to work with the weapons that he has and let Henry Burris be Henry Burris. And again, I was a guy that was hard on Henry Burris. I didn't think he had anything left in the tank. But he's obviously proved me and most other people wrong. He's in my opinion, the clear favorite for most outstanding player in the CFL. I'd be disappointed if he doesn't get it. His value to his team and how he's played throughout the season, the consistency in which he's played, and the spectacular games that he's done in the sense of the 530 yards and the 47 for 53 or whatever the ridiculous game was that he had. it's just been really exciting to see a team in Ottawa make the playoffs and really play some meaningful professional football in such a great football city. I always say that Ottawa is a football town, and I really mean that. I know hockey's there, and we do lots of other sports and all that, but I think in our blood, in our lifeblood, football is rooted in the culture of Ottawa, and I'm very proud of that. And I think the Red Blacks are showing, and the fans are showing that that's a true statement. And so I want to wish the Red Blacks a great. I want to wish them good luck. And I know they probably aren't listening to this podcast, obviously, but definitely, if you have the opportunity, please go out and support the team. Go buy some playoff tickets. Go to the bars, drink some beers, go eat some food on the nights of the games. Tune in on TSN, get the ratings up, because these guys have earned it, and it's going to be a good show. And I think they're one of the top 3 teams to compete for the Grey Cup this year, and that would be super fantastic for the city of Ottawa and definitely for Canada as well. That is our roundup that we're just talking about, all like we do every week, the other teams outside NCAFA and how they're doing. So good luck to all those teams, and it's going to be exciting to see what they are going to do going forward in the playoffs for the Ottawa Sooners, Carleton Ravens, and the Ottawa Red Blacks. Now, the couple other things I wanted to talk about before we get going into the NCAFA stuff, previewing the championships and going over the semifinal weekend. So I just want to talk about a couple things. First, I want to talk about Elite Performance Academy. For those that don't know or haven't seen it yet, they're branded all over our stuff. They're our official training partner of House Edge Sports Network. And I just want to let any parent or athlete that's listening to this podcast right now know that if you're looking to make yourself a better athlete, become better at the sport that you play, whether you're male or female, EPA is where you want to be. They do an unbelievable job training young athletes to become better people and better at their sport. To become a better athlete, it takes more than just going to the gym and pumping iron and being good on the field. You got to have the mentality. You got to be thinking about why you're doing things. You got to know how to do things properly, and you got to know when to implement those things that you're learning. And what Pat and Donnie are doing there is unbelievable. I've seen them do it with the football players that are playing in the OUA right now. I've seen it do it with younger football players. I've seen it with girls soccer. I've seen basketball players. I've seen tons of different athletes from tons of different sports, male or female, go into this facility and come out better. And that's what it's all about. And I want to encourage anyone who's interested about becoming better at their sport and becoming a better person as well to look at Elite Performance Academy as the place you want to be. You can go onto the HESN website, hesn.co, and you can check out our training section that will explain why they're so good. You'll also be able to check out The Difference, which is the official web series of EPA, highlighting the different athletes that go through the program and what they're doing. We obviously did an awesome 6-part series this summer about their Elite D2D summer training program that makes a difference for all the athletes playing in the OUA. But we are going to continue that. Episode 7 will be coming out in a couple weeks. We're going to be taking a look at what Pat and Donnie have been doing throughout the season, how they're recruiting, looking at which athletes throughout the NCAFA. And I can tell you guys right now that these are the guys you want to be training with. So if you have any questions, you guys can contact them directly, or you can contact Jesse or I at hesn.co, and we can give you guys all the details should you have anything. The other thing I wanted to talk about the next HESN event. This is the second event that we're going to be holding. We actually were going to hold it this Friday, but we forgot that it's the midget championship. For some reason, someone told us that the game was going to be Sunday night after the Bantam games at Nepean Sportsplex, but that was incorrect. The game is actually Friday night, this Friday, the 30th of October. So obviously HESN's got to be there. We got to watch the Nepean Eagles battle the Bel Air Norsemen. It's going to be a great game. So we're going to be there. The next event for HESN is going to be November 7th from 12 till 4. Now, the reason we did it during the day is because that was a big success last time. People have the opportunity to get out there, not a lot of responsibilities not a lot of responsibilities during the day as much. Football will be done for most of the people. The All-Star game is on Sunday, so really there's no excuses. Everyone can come, and we encourage any single athlete who is an HESN member currently or is looking to become an HESN member. We would look for you to come with your parents, your friends, and family to check out what HESN is doing. The event is strictly about getting the information that you need so you can make an educated decision about how to become better at the sport that you're doing. In this case, we're going to be primarily talking about football, but EPA will be there. We're going to have a lot of other like-minded individuals together, collectively discussing what it takes to become better at the sport and what we are going to do to help you. So we would love to see everyone come out November 7th at the House Edge Media headquarters, which is at the Walkley and Heron split. 2435 Holly Lane is the address. So we would love to see everybody come out, and it's an unlimited amount of people can come. So we would love to see 1,000 people come. We know that's not probably realistic yet, but we would love to see as many people as we come. So keep that time free from November 7th from 12 to 4 at the House Edge Media headquarters, the next HESN number 2 event, to get some information. Now what we're going to do is we're going to quickly, I'm just going to sort of freeball this. I haven't written down anything here, but we're going to talk about the games that we're at this weekend and a little bit what's happened at the Pee-wee, the Bantam, and the Midget divisions. This year we didn't get into Tyke and Mosquito again, but that will change next year. That will change next year. So all you Tyke and Mosquito families and athletes out there, don't forget, we don't forget you, and we hope that you guys don't forget us. We will be out more next year. We're going to start really trying to expand our reach as HESN so that we can really make sure that we're really exposing as many athletes as we can to the benefits of HESN. So we don't really know the drama and the story that's unfolded at the Tyke and the Mosquito division, though we will take a quick look at the championship games when we start doing the previews. But we're going to start in the Pee-wee division. We're going to start the game that we were at last weekend on Saturday or on Sunday, whatever day it was. It was an amazing game. It was the Orleans Bengals versus the Bell Warriors. The video's up on NCAFA.tv right now. You can go and check it out. It's a spectacular game. Jesse and I shot it. We had 2 cameras, one up top, one down low. It was extremely windy. It was a little bit cold, but the action on the field was hot as fire. It was unbelievable. I was totally blown away by the drama in that game. It was a 23-20 victory for the Bell Warriors, who were previously 7-1 in this game. Now 8-1 or 9-1, but they almost lost to the Orleans Bengals. And I want to give a shout out to the Orleans Bengals for not being intimidated and not going in there with a negative attitude. They went in there believing they can win, and they almost did it. It was an exceptional game. Early on in the game, the Orleans Bengals were pinned deep in their zone, and the Bell Warriors were pressing on the goal line, and they had 2 goal line stands in the first 5 minutes of the game. It was unbelievable. They forced a turnover on one time. They stopped them cold on another one. It was unbelievable. Unfortunately, the Bengals then turned the ball over. And in the ensuing play, right at the start of the second quarter, the Bell Warriors are able to capitalize and take the lead in the game. So that was huge. They got the 2-point conversion. But then the Orleans Bengals, they didn't stop right there. They kept driving down the field, and the quarterback for the Orleans Bengals, who I was extremely impressed with, played a great game. They had a great game plan. They were really using number 5 and number 9, their wide receivers, to really spread out the field and pick apart this Bell Warriors defense that is obviously very, very good. Their 7-1 record just doesn't come, and dominating teams all year doesn't come just by being an average team. This defense is exceptional, and this Orleans Bengals offense did not what they wanted, but they were able to execute running plays really well. They were able to execute passing plays extremely well. The quarterback for the Orleans Bengals at the Pee-wee division had a great game. He made some fundamental mistakes, which I did end up talking to his dad about. He was, when he received the snap, he was leaving the ball exposed, and it bumped the fullback a couple times and leading to a couple fumbles in the game. I was always taught, and I believe that I would, if I was ever coaching quarterbacks, what you want to do is when you get that snap, you need to bring the ball to your chest to protect it, and when the time comes to hand off the ball, you extend the ball out, put it in the sweet spot, and let the running back go with it. A couple times that didn't happen, so he definitely is frustrated with himself. I know he's been to tons of camps and has some great coaching there, so those are definitely some things that he'll be able to correct. But throwing the football on the run, throwing it over the first level of the defenders across in front of the safeties, he made some big-time throws for the Pee-wee division in a tough throwing condition. It was windy, and they were going into the wind when they scored the ball through passing. So it was a really great game. Number 11 for the Bengals had an exceptional game as well. He made, with about 4 minutes to go in the game, or two and a half minutes to go in the game, he made about an 85-yard run, slashed right through the defenders. I actually thought he was out of gas. I didn't think he had anything left in the tank because they were using him running and receiving on screen passes, but he was able to find some more energy, and he made an 85-yard run or something like that, and it was unbelievable. You can check it out on the highlights on the NCAFA.tv or on the HESN YouTube channel. But it was a great game. The Warriors then went down, had about 3 third-down conversions, were able to convert, and they were able to eventually score a passing touchdown right down the left sideline, which they were attacking all day long. They were not successful in completing the pass most often, but it was open all day. They were definitely throwing away from Nathan Cash. They were trying to make sure that they wouldn't give the ball to the biggest playmakers on the defensive hand, and they were throwing away from him. The quarterback was looking right. Nate was playing safety, and he was going backdoor on him, and there was really nothing the Bengals could do because those receivers for the Bell Warriors are exceptional athletes. It was a fantastic game, and I want to give my congratulations to the Bell Warriors. In the other game, the Panthers did what they usually do. They dominated the opponent. They won about 29-0. I talked to Coach Karate. He said that the team they played put up a great fight, but his guys played a great game, and they wanted to make sure that they got themselves focused and ready for the championship game because Coach Karate wants to make sure that he comes out and gets that championship again. He's very excited about his team. He loves his team, just like the Bell Warriors coaches do. I think that is going to be the best game of the day. I'm going to say it right now. The Pee Wee Championship game will be the best game on Sunday, November 1st, actually. So the Panthers and the Warriors are going to be playing at the Pee Wee Championship. They just played about a couple weeks ago. You can go to NCAFA.tv and check that out. It's going to be a great game, but I just want to give my shout out to the Bell Warriors and the Orleans Bengals for playing in a real classic NCAFA Pee Wee game. And in the Bantam division, again, we were unable to get out to Brockville just because of the logistics and getting out there with our cameramen and cars and stuff. But I know that the Rideau Redblacks ended up winning. We don't have any video of that, but I do know based on a few Facebook posts that there was some controversy in that game with the referees and all that such. So the South Gloucester Raiders are a little frustrated with how that game turned out, but nonetheless, the Raiders did a fantastic job and had a great year, and I want to give them a congratulations for really turning it around late in the season and doing great things and almost making it to the city championship. But it will be the Rideau Redblacks who won. The other game was Bel Air Lions versus the Myers Riders at the Bantam Division. That was also a game we filmed this weekend. That was at the Nepean Sportsplex, and that was a true defensive battle. It was a 10-1 final. No, it wasn't a baseball game. This was a football game. There was 1 touchdown scored, but lots of special teams, lots of great defense, and there was some good offensive plays as well. But overall, this was a really good defensive game. Both teams played pretty well. And as always, the Bel Air Lions always seem to make the right decision. I'm always so impressed with their coaching staff. They punt the ball when they need to punt. They go for it when they should. They make adjustments on the fly. Their offense wasn't working. One of the plays that the Bel Air Lions ran all year with extreme success was that awesome read option they ran with Braden. And he holds the ball long, and he fools me every time on the camera. And he really did a great job all year. But the Myers defensive coordinator was not going to let them beat them on that play. And he shut it down. And he basically, what you do is you send one guy after each. Anytime they run it, you put one guy at the runner, one guy at the quarterback, and if they're going to run something else, a fake or a pass, you deal with it. But they weren't going to let Bel Air Lions beat them with the read option. And they kept going to the well in the first half. 4 or 5 times they did it. It was probably minus 25 yards in the whole game, to be honest with you. So Myers shut that play down. And in the second half, the Bel Air Lions adjusted. They went to a wildcat formation. They put Lacusa at quarterback. They lined up Braden at receiver, and they forced the Myers Riders to do something that they probably hadn't worked. In this whole season, I don't know if I've ever seen the Lions line up in that wildcat formation. They did in this championship game, and it worked. They were able to control the ball. They were able to move the ball on first and second down to create first downs and keep the ball out of Myers' hands. And they were eventually able to score a touchdown. They also had a field goal, and it was a great football game. It wasn't a high-scoring game, but it was a great football game. And again, like I said, Coach Chartier is just the guy. What he does with his guys has been the most impressive coaching job I've seen in NCAFA over the last 2 years. No disrespect to anyone out there. The Nepean Eagles do a great job at midget. Myers Riders always do a good job. Coach Karate and the Panthers do a great job. Warriors always great. But where the Lions were 2 years ago and where they are now, where people thought they were going to be, these guys are unbelievable. They won the championship at Bantam last year. They're back in the championship game this year. These are a bunch of young guys that really, really care about the sport and really, really care about the kids. And they do it right, and it's great to see. And I want to give my congratulations to the Bel Air Lions for being in the championship against the Rideau Red Blacks, which will be playing on November 1st on Sunday, the Bantam Champ. So that's really going to be a great game. And at the midget division, on Friday night, we filmed the Norsemen versus the Stampeders. It was a blowout, obviously. The Stampeders only had 20 players. I know a couple of them had some high school games. I know a couple of them had some injuries. It wasn't pretty at all. It was a blowout. It was 35-0. Game got called after the third quarter after an injury to one of the Stampeders players. I want to give my shout out to him. Hopefully everything's okay. But it was a brutal game. It was terribly played by the Stampeders. They just ran out of gas. They ran out of gas and ran out of bodies. I know the coaches really cared. I know there's a lot of players that really cared. But at the end of the day, if you don't got the bodies and you don't have the gas left, it's tough to win against a team like the Norsemen who are so deep and so tough. So the Eagles and the Norsemen will be competing at the Midget Championship, and that's going to be on Friday night, and that's going to be a really great game. So let's get into those games. Let's really break down what might happen in the championship games on Sunday. We'll start with the Tyke division. I know nothing about the Tyke division. You know, I love Tyke football, but I don't know anything about these teams. But what I do know is that I've heard Cornwall has been a powerhouse all year, as well as Canada. I think that I know Kirby does a great job in Cornwall, really making sure that the boys get everything they need to compete every week. It's going to be a great game. The Tyke Championship is always a great game. You know, last year was a little bit of a wild game, being like, I think it was 80 to 75 or something. But you know, hopefully, don't see something like that. I would like to see a good football game in the sense of scoring and defense and special teams and all that stuff. But Canada versus Cornwall, I'm going to say. I have a feeling that Cornwall is a little bit of a team of destiny. I think that the Cornwall Wildcats will, I don't know if this will be their first championship, but I have a feeling that this team is a team of destiny. I know they beat the Bel Air Lions last week in a game, but I'm picking the Cornwall Wildcats to defeat the Canada Knights at the Tyke division based upon really no information other than I believe the Cornwall just got that mojo. I think they're a team of destiny. At the Mosquito division, we got the Eagles versus the Myers Riders. Now, I know this is always an intense rivalry. These two guys, they always play OVFL together. They combine at the midget division as well to form the Eagles. I don't know much about these teams at the Mosquito division, but I think this is going to be a great game. I think these guys probably know each other. A lot of these kids probably see each other at different birthday parties and school, maybe even some of them. But at the end of the day, I'm going to have to go with the Eagles. I think that the Eagles will be the team that will win this championship at the Mosquito division, and I just hope for a good game. At the Pee Wee division, I've already mentioned it, who the two teams are, but that's Cumberland Panthers versus the Bell Warriors. Now, this game I can break down, and I will a bit, and I'm going to get flack from no matter who I pick, so I'm not scared. So when I see you guys on the weekend or when you guys comment on me, don't hate me. I don't hate y'all. I just want a good game, and I think we're going to get a great game. All year I have had the Panthers ranked as the number one team based on a few factors. Number one, they got a great coaching staff. Coach Karate does a fantastic job. He was my coach for a year when I played Gloucester Dukes. Back in the day, not East Ottawa, but it was the Bengals midget team. We were called the Dukes back then, and he is such a great coach. He's intense, but the information that he gives you is very useful. And I think he's done a great job with those kids ever since they were in Tyke and at the OVFL level. And They've been number one all year. They got a great quarterback with Christian. They got two fantastic wide receivers. That's definitely their strengths, is their wide receivers. Number 25 and number 85 are game breakers. Every time they touch the ball, they can take it the distance. And when you have two guys that really can take the ball for a touchdown every single time they get it in their hands, it's dangerous, because in the cold weather, you don't want to tackle as much, and you're more prone to sort of dive at legs and put your head down, just go for it. And I think that's dangerous, especially on the Nepean Sportsplex field. It's a fast field. And I think that the Bell Warriors will have a tough time with those two guys. But that doesn't mean that the Panthers don't have a running game. If you want to really focus on stopping their wide receivers, and you want to put one over the top or put double team them, all stuff, they can still run the ball. And so you got to be careful of that as well. Their defense is very, very good when they want to zone in and go at it. There ain't no team better at it. And that's why I think the Panthers are so good, is all those things. That number one is their coaching. Number two, they got a great quarterback-receiver tandem. And number three, they run the ball well and they play defense well. They don't really have weakness. I don't really see anything the Cumberland Panthers do as being not good. Everything they do is damn good. And I think that that's why they're always, this team has been over for the last few years at Mosquito and Pee Wee and all that, Tyke, sorry, they've been the ones that are in the championship. So they're really good, but the Warriors are really good too. And they sort of have the same strengths as the Panthers. Number one starts the coaching staff. Coach Polito does a great job, and they got a great group of coaches that have been there for a while. They understand what it takes to play Pee Wee football, and they do a great job. And you can see the two coaching staffs who I think are probably the best at the Pee Wee division are the ones that are in the championship. The difference between, offensively, the difference between the Panthers and Warriors, it starts with the quarterback and receivers. Whereas for the Panthers, the quarterback and receivers, I believe, is the greatest strength. I don't believe quarterback and receiver play is the strength of the Warriors' offense. That's not to say it's not good, because it's very good. Their strength lies in their two-headed attack. Number 21 and number 23 are both game breakers. And they can both catch the football, they can both block, they can both return punts and kickoffs, and they can run the football properly. And I think that when you have two guys like that can really be game breakers, and if the weather's bad and the weather's cold, they will have the advantage. That is where they can win the game. If the weather's bad, the Warriors, with their solid running attack and those two great running backs, it's going to be tough to stop. The defense for Bell is very good. I think that the Panthers' defense is a little bit better than the Warriors' defense, and the matchup, I think, is better for the Panthers' defense against the Warriors. I think that the Panthers' defense is big, and they're really aggressive in trying to stop the run. I think every team in Pee Wee is susceptible to the pass just because of the repetitions that these defensive backs have had, which is not that many. So I think that the matchup-wise, it's really not a great matchup for the Warriors, unless the weather takes a turn for the worse. But the key thing is in this whole game is going to be two things. It's going to be turnovers, and it's going to be special teams. And I believe, let's put it this way, I'll start with this. I think the Panthers are going to win the game. I think the game's going to be 34-20 for the Panthers. And the reason why I think the Panthers are going to win a game 34-20 is going to be because of their quarterback and their receiver play. If the weather is good and those guys can connect on the ball, on the good throws, the short passes, and the long ones, I believe that the Warriors won't be able to stop those two guys, number 25 and number 85. And I believe that's what Coach Karate will do to take advantage of them. And we'll see how the Warriors handle that. That being said, if the weather is rainy and if it's really cold, the Warriors will have an opportunity to control the ball and use that two-headed monster and their trick plays, which they love to run. The Bell Warriors always got a few trick plays, and they run them in unique situations. Now, another guy I haven't mentioned with the Bell Warriors in this whole thing is number 1. Jake the Snake is, I think, probably the X factor in this game. If he can get a few plays where he can maybe sneak around or get around that end or run a trick play or a fake punt or something like that, he can be a game breaker. He's track speed, full speed guy. He's a really, really good football player. He just doesn't get the touches because they got exceptional players in number 23 and 21. That doesn't bother him. He just cares about winning, and he's going to do his job. But I think that the X factor for the Warriors will be number 1, and I think the X factors for the Panthers will be the quarterback and receiver play. So like I said, 34-20 for the Panthers is my prediction. If the weather's really bad and rainy, I'm going to say it's going to be closer. I'm still going to say the Panthers will win, but I think it's going to be like 20-15 type of deal if it's rainy. But it's going to be a great game nonetheless. I think that everyone should make sure they're there for that one. But my first prediction of the day that I know what I'm talking about, other than the Tyke and Mosquito division, will be the Cumberland Panthers defeating the Bell Warriors at the Pee Wee division. We'll go with midget next because I want to leave the bantam for last. At the midget division, I believe that the Eagles will win. I think the Norsemen have a ton of talent. I love their quarterback. I love their running back. Unfortunately, Dylan Perry's hurt. He has a broken collarbone. Don't believe he's playing. He's a great game breaker. Number 85, I believe. He's an awesome player. I think his name's Tyler. What up? But I just don't think they'll have enough offensively to take on that monstrous defense for the Eagles. The Eagles, again, both those teams, they have great coaching staffs, as which will be repeated throughout this whole conversation about the NCAFA finals. But I believe the Eagles will win this game about 45-20. I don't think the Norsemen will be able to keep up. I think if the weather's bad, it benefits the Eagles, and I think if the weather's good, it benefits the Eagles. I think that Jacob Spinella, with his wide array of wide receivers, that's a tough thing to say, will be able to shred the Norsemen defense. We saw, I think the last time they played, I believe it was 22-0. But not much really to say about the Eagles and the midget division. I think the Eagles will win it pretty handily, which will be their second championship in a row, and this will be the third time in the championship in the last 3 years. Redskins 2 years ago, 3 years ago, Eagles last year, and they beat Curly. And this year they'll be playing the Norsemen. So my prediction at the midget division is the Eagles to win 45-20 against the Beller Norsemen. Now we get into my favorite division, which is the Bantam division. Now, unfortunately, I haven't been able to really see the Red Blacks live in person, so I can't really tell you what they are. But what I do know, and based on watching a bit of film on them, is they're a big team. And when I watched the film from the Bell Warriors playoff game, which was closer than the score represented, I saw that they wore down the Bell Warriors. At the end of the day, the big boys from Brockville, really, that O-line started to push and dominate. And when you can push and dominate, control the line of scrimmage, as everyone knows in the sport of football, you have a really good chance to win. So I think the Rito Red Blacks, for them to win, they're going to need to control the line of scrimmage. They obviously cannot turn over the ball. And they're going to be able to keep running that football and keep the ball out of the hands of Beller Lions. And that's how the Rito Red Blacks will have a chance to win. For the Beller Lions, I think that what they need to do is they're going to need to find a way to become more explosive than they have been. I believe that if they get into a defensive battle and they try to play like they did against Myers and try to slow it down and just sort of go meticulously matriculate their way down the field, I believe that they're going to be in a little bit of trouble. I don't think that's a good matchup for them. I think what the Beller Lions want to do is they need to find a way to spread out the Rito Red Blacks offensively and defensively, if that can be done, and take advantage of some matchups. I think that the quarterback for the Beller Lions, I think, is a great player, and I think what I would like to see from him and what he needs to do in order for the Beller Lions to win the championship is he needs to have a big game throwing the football. The last couple of games, he's thrown the ball well, but he has also missed a few opportunities to connect on some long balls. Early in the year, he wasn't missing. The last few weeks, as the weather's gotten colder, I've seen him overthrow the ball a little bit. The wind was swirling last week, but I believe that the Beller Lions will need to connect on a few passes and will need to be a big strike team, and they'll need a few big plays in order to win this game, because I think it's going to be harder than maybe they might be thinking internally. Not the coaches, but the kids. Just because these guys are from Brockville doesn't mean they ain't worth playing football. Trust me when I tell you this. These guys are big, and they're tough, and they want to win, and they got sweet uniforms. So the Beller Lions will have their hands full. I think this is going to be a great game as well. I think I don't know if they've played this year. I didn't do my research there well enough, obviously, but I believe the Beller Lions will find a way to do it. So I believe the Beller Lions will win this game. I think it's going to be 31-13. And the reason I believe it's going to be 31-13 is because this defense for the Beller Lions finds a way to take the ball away. They get fumbles, they get interceptions. They're great on special teams. And I think that the Beller Lions will make a few big plays, and it will really suck the energy right out of the Rito Red Blacks. And I think the Beller will repeat as Bantam champions. And I think it's going to be a great football game. And I hope that everyone listening will be at the championship games next week on November 1st at Nepean Sportsplex. But those are my predictions. I'll quickly go over them again. I got Cornwall winning at Tyke based on them being a team of destiny. I got the Eagles winning at Mosquito for no other reason than I just guessed. Pee-wee division, I got the Panthers defeating the Warriors for the second time this year. I think this is the closest matchup that we're going to see all day. But I believe the Panthers will find a way to control the game by throwing the football, and number 25 and number 85 will make big plays, and they'll win the game that way. At the Bantam division, I believe the Bel Air Lions will also do the same thing. Their quarterback will have a great game, and they will find a way to win the game by throwing the football, spreading out the big Rito Red Black team. And I believe the Eagles will trounce the Norsemen at the midget division. To all the teams who I didn't pick, don't hate me. It's nothing personal. I'm just making my picks. I'm just calling it as I see it. I think that's going to be a great weekend of football. To all the people competing in the B Cups and the C Cups, we're going to be at as many games as we can. We were going to go out to the games on Wednesday. I don't know if we will be going out there on Wednesday anymore because of the weather that's going to be coming in tomorrow night. It's going to be a torrential downpour all day. So I don't know if we'll be able to get out there tomorrow night, but we will see how the weather looks. But please don't hate me, guys. This was the HESN football podcast, running into basically coming up at half an hour, actually 40 minutes here. So I'm going to wrap it up now. But this is the last podcast of the football season. We're going to keep doing some podcasts throughout the off season like we always do. But this is the last one of the actual playing season. We'll obviously do an all-star one, and we got some great things coming up in the off season this year. But I wanted to say a couple things just about all the support that HESN, Jesse, and I have received from all the parents and coaches and players in NCAFA. We couldn't be more thrilled with the support that we receive. And we want to say thank you. And things like the podcast and the extra effort that Jesse and I and the team here at HESN and House Edge Media do is really because you guys respond to it. And if you guys didn't like it, we wouldn't be doing it. We wouldn't just be doing it for no reason. And I want to take this opportunity as the number 2 here at HESN to just say thank you for everyone listening to the podcast, watching the videos, all the parents showing up at the games, all the people doing the barbecues at the canteens at the game, and the 50-50 parents, and the people coming to the HESN events and buying highlight tapes. We really appreciate it. We are trying to help the sport of football get bigger and more respect in this city and in this country, and we feel that with you guys, with your support, we're able to achieve that. I hope everyone has a great weekend. I hope everyone is able to come out to the championship games. I will see all you guys this weekend. Make sure you guys say what's up to Jesse and I on Sunday, November 1st. I'm Tyler McLaren from the HESN Football Podcast signing off. Talk to you guys next week. Peace.